What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by Autobahn. My name is Max, and today you join me with another viewer's car. This is Andrij's 1993 BMW 840Ci, and it is awesome. Absolutely love it. It is so cool that you guys keep bringing us these older cars now that we're doing more older cars. Andrij sent us a message after I did the Mercedes 560 SE recently, which I also adored. He immediately sent us a message, I replied, and here we are like a week later. So if you have a cool car you want us to feature on our channel, make sure you send us a DM on Instagram, or an email address is on screen right now, and send us some info and some pics, and maybe your car will be next. I absolutely love driving you guys' cars because they are so different. I get something different every time, and it's just awesome. And I really value the trust that you guys put in us, so super cool. So today I'm going to show you around it. We'll talk a bit about what the 8 Series is, and you know, what makes it so cool, and then we'll take it for a drive towards the Autobahn for an Autobahn blast. Now, the 8 Series, this generation, the E31, was introduced in 1989 at the Frankfurt Motor Show, and built from 1990 until 1999. BMW really was on a roll with their coupes, because this was actually ready in 1986, but it was delayed until 1990 because the 6 Series was still doing really well, and this was supposed to, well, not really follow up, but sort of replace the 6 Series and take it to a higher level, similar to what they did more recently with the 6 going to the 8 again, and again, like moving up a class basically. It's the same thing they did back in the day with the 6 Series E24, which is one of the most beautiful cars BMW has ever made, which replaced the E9 Coupe, which was another one of the most beautiful BMWs ever made. And this is, I think, also part of that, well, that group of the most beautiful, best looking BMWs ever. So yeah, 3 times in a row BMW really did well. Designed by Klaus Kapitsa. It sort of looks like something that was done by Giugiaro, which was the design studio that also did the M1 supercar. And it has sort of that M1 front with that super sort of shark nose, flat design with the 2 little kidney grills. It has the pop-up headlights, of course, which are iconic. So yeah, I think this is a super beautiful car. You don't see them ever. They only made around 30,000 of them in total. And well, it's a shame because I think it's super handsome. So let me just show you guys the car with pop-up headlights, so you can see the difference. I actually think it looks better with the headlights down because it's more sleek, but pop-up headlights are very cool. So that's how it looks. But we're going to get them down. It looks a lot more sleek, and I don't know, it just fits the car better if you ask me. Awesome. So this is a 1993, as I said. 840Ci was introduced in 1993. They started out with the 850, which was a V12, of course, manual or automatic. The first 6-speed manual road car V12 combo, which is super cool. Later on, they introduced the 840 with a V8 as sort of an entry-level version of the 8 Series. They also had a concept 830i, which was a 3-liter V8. But they decided to not introduce that. Also, they did an M8 for this 8 Series. They wanted to introduce that later on as well, but because of the economic recession in the 90s, this car was not selling the way they hoped maybe, and they thought that an M8 was not really going to sell at all, so they ditched that. But that car would have been absolutely insane. So there's a prototype, and it has an S70 V12 with 600 horsepower, 640 horsepower, dual overhead cams. It had Lexan windows, carbon wheels. It didn't have the pop-up headlights, but just a straight front end. And then it's got 2 intakes on the hips, which looks insane. 320 km/h top speed. That thing would have been sick, really crazy. but yeah, economic recession, and they decided to ditch it. They did introduce an 840Ci later on, which also had an S70, so that's an M division fiddled engine. The engine code went from M to S, that's how you know, and it had a bit more power, 381 horsepower instead of the 300 you had in the 850. But this was the V8 version, the 840, multi-link suspension, independent suspension at the rear, introduced on the 8 Series and the Z1 back in the day. Super cool wheels. These are actually the 850 CSI wheels, Andrei thinks. These are 245 tires at the front with an 18-inch wheel, Hankook Ventus Evo Z tires. Super nice tire actually, and we've got regular passive dampers and springs, nicely set up for touring. You can follow Andrei on Instagram, retro.e31. Make sure you do if you want to follow along his journey with his content on this car. And then at the rear we actually have a modification, because you can see that this car has the square tailpipes, square quad tailpipes. That's actually the V12 way. So the V8 had the round tips and the V12 had the square tips. So I don't know if the entire exhaust is modified or just the tips, but yeah, it does sound pretty good. It's like relatively civilized. And then you've got a big boot as well, with something Andrei found at his grandparents' house, which is like a cassette holder. Super nice. Some Mariah Carey, some Ozone, Andrea Bocelli, of course, Celine Dion. I mean, it's all very music from Twin Peaks. It's all very period correct. Love that. Also, most of the toolkit is still there, but Andrei is trying to find the rest. But just look at this design. It's so simple, so simplistic, so beautiful. Little details like this little tick up, this slight curve in there. They didn't have to do that. It would have been much cheaper probably to just make it straight, but it just gives the car a more interesting look. Absolutely love that. Slightly dished wheels as well at the rear, super beautiful. And then the engine, let's have a look, is the M60 B40. So the 4-liter V8 naturally aspirated, 286 horsepower, 400 newton meters of torque. Later on, 1995, this engine was replaced by the M62 B44. So the 4.4 liter with the same power but slightly more torque, 420 newton meters. 850 had the M70 V12, was later on replaced by the M73 V12, the 5.4 liter, and then the 850 CSI had the 5.6 liter S73 B56, which also had like better suspension, stiffer suspension, 4-wheel steering, manual gearbox. I think that 850 CSI is something that we need to find as well. So if you have a V12 8 Series or any other cool car, make sure you hit us up. BMW Diamond Black Metallic, nice color. And it is in good shape, I have to say. I mean, it's such a beautiful car. I love it. So let's have a look inside and also show you that this car, this is not a B-pillar. This is a fake B-pillar, so to speak. So if we get this on. Oh, yeah. Lower the windows. Okay, you've got the fully open side, which is super nice. Let's drive a bit with this all down. I think that would be cool. Inside, super nice interior. Like this whole high up deal tilted towards the driver. A lot of buttons, but we've got 2 setting heated seats. We've got EDC. Oh, it's got adaptive dampers. I didn't know that. So sport and comfort, I guess. That is cool. ASC, stability control. We've got a blind in the rear. We've got, you know, your AC, your audio, and that's basically it. Super simple, lovely dials, absolutely gorgeous. And then just a simple steering wheel, which is in great condition. It's done 93,000 kilometers. We've got a sport setting for the gearbox, which is a 5-speed Dragy automatic. 6-speed manual also available in Europe for this car. Yeah, and then the V12 had a 4-speed automatic, so this is actually a bit better. But driving it, it's a lot less loose than I was expecting. It feels really tight and solid. It's just really well judged. And the same goes for the power steering, which is also super nice. So kick down, very nice. It revs out pretty slowly. It feels like a pretty lazy engine. But it's quick enough to not feel heavy. It weighs nearly 2,000 kilos, I think 1,900 plus, which is cool. I think the M8 concept that they did with the carbon wheels and the Lexan windows and all the carbon stuff, carbon bonnet I think as well, that weighed like 1,450 kilos. So they did a lot on their car in weight saving. So 0 to 100, factory time 7.4 seconds. There we go. Needs some time, like from 4,000 RPM you can feel that it starts to go actually. We did 8 seconds, which is okay, it's not bad. 93. I mean the Mercedes still was doing its 7.3 second factory claim, but I mean you can't really expect all those old cars to do that. So handling wise, as I said, it feels solid, so I love the power steering. It just gives you so much feel of where your front wheels are. Yeah, it's something that it's hard to find with modern cars. I think if you use this car the way it was intended, it's not a sports car. So I feel like if you start really trying to extract performance from it, it starts to feel a little bit sluggish because you have an old automatic and the gearbox just, yeah, you need to time your inputs, and the engine, as I said, like from 4,000 RPM it starts to feel alive. But if you use it, as I said, the way it's intended, as like a fast cruiser, it is incredible. It feels so smooth and supple, and it feels like cool, like, you know, like a big V8 coupe. Really good suspension, pretty quiet. I mean, tire and wind noise pretty okay. We'll see what it's like on the Autobahn now, but we'll also check out the difference in the damper settings. So far sport is really good. I mean, it's still very comfy, you still have some lean, but whoa, that's actually really good. I'm amazed at how solid all these older cars feel. So full throttle onto the Autobahn. Let's go to comfort for the suspension. Oh yeah, that's very noticeable. We'll keep it in sport for now because I don't think it's too harsh, but comfort is like really properly comfortable. So top speed 250 kilometers an hour, limited. 100 to 200 we did around 22 seconds. not mega fast, it's also not slow. Wow, I think honestly, like wind noise with the B-pillar that you don't have, like the frameless windows, it's actually very impressive. This is like easy for this car. Cruising speed. The one thing that really gives away a car's age are the brakes, of course. Pedal feel is not bad. I don't want to completely fry them, so I'm going to try and keep my distance to other people so I don't have to brake too hard and ruin the brakes. But so far pedal feel is not bad. Relatively speaking, you know, for cars of this age. But I just love looking at the dials as well. Kind of reminds me of the Murcielago dials, speedometer. Has the same look with that double edge with the little lines. Looks really good. Are we going? Yes, we are. Here we go. So nothing has really changed. I mean, you're still, you know, 30 years later, driving your 8 Series V8 on the Autobahn, just cruising at 200 plus kilometers an hour, being the big daddy of the Autobahn. Nothing's changed since 93. And that's what I love about these cars, that even 30 years later, it feels so special and capable. That was 240. We have to turn around here, otherwise I'm going back to the border. I don't want that, so turn around. Brakes holding up nicely. Yeah, it's not a sports car. It's, I think it's more like, what did we have back then? Like Jaguar XJS? Probably stuff like that, right? Also V12. Well, this is V8, but I do really like the sound at the higher revs. It's a nice V8 tone. Like, it's not too much, not too extreme, not in your face, but you know, still letting you know that you've got a V8. Okay, that was 240. I'm not sure if we're going to hit 250 today because it's quite busy. You do need a bit of space, but everything's looking good. Temperature is stable, feels good. It's a good car, like in good condition. We might be in for a treat here. I think we're going to hit 250. Super stable, and honestly, it's super quiet in here for a 30-year-old car going 250. Count me impressed. That's it, I can feel the limiter. Wow. What a great car. Andrei, you've got an amazing car. So he was thinking about doing or buying an M340i and have like a daily and a fun car at the same time, which, yes, very good idea, probably the best out there. But he was a bit worried about running costs, and they were a bit more expensive, of course. So he decided to buy a Golf 7 as a daily, a VW Golf 7, and then this as a fun car. And I totally get that. This is such a vibe, this car. The design, the interior, just the feel that you get when you drive this is awesome. So really, really nice, Andre. I love it. Thank you so much for coming and letting us have a go. Really appreciate it. To you guys, thanks for watching. If you have a cool car, as I said, make sure you hit us up. Check out the video on the right, the playlist on the left, subscribe, and we'll see you at the next one. Bye.